Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You all don't know this, but this is take two for me because I did something very dumb and I went ahead and talked for 15 minutes and didn't hit record. Please don't laugh at my pain. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is week 3. I hope all of you are doing well. I feel like this is getting a little more normalized, but it's still weird and we're still learning, and that's okay. All right, we're still learning. We're still figuring things out, and we just kind of have to keep rolling with the punches. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is week 3. I have a few things to go over. I'm going to try to keep this video short. I say that every single time, and it never is short, which is perfectly indicative of what my class is like, right? I always say, oh, we gotta do this, right? And we only have a certain amount of time, and we're always behind because I'm always talking too much. All right, so I'm gonna try to keep this short, but I'm not making any promises. Now, before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that I hope that all of you are doing well. I hope that you all really took advantage of having a long 3-day weekend, and I hope that you rested, and I hope that you caught up on some sleep, and I hope that you're all doing well. I also hope that you took this weekend and you took this holiday as an opportunity to spend time with family while social distancing. But I really hope that you enjoyed your weekend. I hope that you enjoyed your Sunday, and I hope that all of you got to do what I did, which is eat copious amounts of Reese's peanut butter eggs until you felt like throwing up, because that's the only way I do this. All right, that's my thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I share my screen and show you what we're going to be doing, I want to briefly discuss what it is that we're going to be doing. So, we are going to begin reading Greek mythology. Now, we're going to read a book that is written by Edith Hamilton, and it is entitled Greek Mythology. All right, now, the way she writes this book is a little different, okay? When we think of Greek stories, we have these ideas in our head of how those Greek stories went, right? We have this idea of, certain gods and the powers that they have and stories that they went through and blah, 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 right? But the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are lots of stories, right? So for Hercules, right, one of the most well-known characters because of Disney, there's multiple stories written by multiple people about Hercules, right? And so what Edith Hamilton has done is she has taken all of those stories and she's put them into one like summary for you all to read, okay? And so instead of having this story of this story and this story and this story and this story, she's taken all of them, put them together, and she's created a summary for you. Now, why are there so many stories? Well, because this wasn't factual. This isn't historical, right? This wasn't a historical thing. And so there were lots of people who created lots of versions of these stories to explain lots of different things, okay? So it is written in modern English, and it is a summary, and she talks about where she gets these stories from, okay? So that's kind of the big picture. Now, Greek mythology is not factual, and it's also not really seen as religion in the way that we look at religion, okay? The way that we think of religion. Back then, people did worship the gods, but it was done in kind of a different way, right? They ultimately understood that these were stories that were created to explain things, and they tried to explain them in the best way that they could. And that's where these stories came from. So a lot of people ask me, like, well, why these stories? Why are they here? How did they come about? Blah, blah. Well, every single group of people throughout human history have craved answers to certain questions. Now, we in our modern times have the ability to use a scientific method and come up with hypotheses and test things. And we search for answers in kind of different ways because we have developed as a human species far enough that we can utilize certain tools and certain things to explain certain things, right? But even with our technology, even with science, even with all these things, we still ultimately don't know a lot about things, about stuff. So much of what we're doing is still guessing, right? Now, we're taking scientific guesses, and our guesses make a lot of sense, and there's a lot of evidence to back up those guesses, but we're still ultimately guessing, right? But we all have this craving to answer things, right? To come up with answers. So it's no different back then. But back then, they didn't have any scientific methods. They didn't have the ability to really say, like, okay, this is what's happening. So one of my favorite examples of this is an earthquake. Imagine 1,000 years ago, you're walking around doing your thing, right? Just chilling, hanging out, trying not to die, because that's what people did back then. Like every day it was just people trying not to die. And it was really hard to not die because like everything was trying to kill you like all the time, right? And you're just walking along, chilling, doing your thing, hanging out, Greece, looking at the birds. I don't know what you're doing. And then the earth just starts to shake violently. It's just like, and everything starts shaking. You can't walk straight. And then like maybe even like where you're walking, like a crack forms. That is terrifying. That is horrifying. That is one of the scariest things that could ever happen to someone, right? That is terrifying. And then you go and you run up to people and you're like, yo, did you feel that? I'm like, yeah, I felt that, right? And you're all in this little group and you're like, what the heck was that? I don't know, man. And then there's always that one guy. There's always that one guy, right? There's always that one guy that's all smug. He's sitting in the back and he's like, well, you know what it is. It's the earth, dude. He's mad. You know why? We need to kill more ghosts. We did not kill enough ghosts this month. And everyone else is like, you know what? You're right. Let's kill some goats. And that sounds a little crazy to us, right? But imagine walking around and seeing this giant thing of light just come crashing down to your world from the sky, and it hits a bush and it lights it on fire. That's horrifying. And now we know, like, yeah, it's lightning, it's electrons, blue. I don't even know where lightning comes from, right? But we have an explanation for it. But back then they didn't know. So they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. But human beings hate this idea of saying, I have no idea. I don't know what it is. And that's okay. No. Human beings can't do that. Human beings have to come up with a reason. So human beings are like, oh yeah, that thing that came down, that's this dude up in the sky. You know, he's on a mountain and he gets to control lightning. And if you make him mad and he throws lightning at you, seems legit, right? Because they don't have an explanation, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, understand that that's what a lot of this is. It's trying to explain the world around them. And then on top of it, the Greeks did something else. The Greeks also used gods and goddesses and the stories of human people to explain the world around them and to impart knowledge upon other people and to try to teach people about values that they find valuable, right? Values that they think are important, values that they think other people should take into consideration, right? And so it's not very different from a lot of literature that we read, right? When we think about the House of Mangochu, we think about Fahrenheit 451, you know, Ray Bradbury and Sandra Cisneros wrote these stories to try to get us to understand something, to try to get us to learn about something, right? And that's what's happening here. They're explaining the world around them, and they're trying to get people to understand, hey, you know, things like moderation are important, and don't try to be bigger than who you actually are, and don't be mean to strangers, right? These are all valuable things that they want to impart on other people, so that's where these stories come from. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now, ladies and gentlemen, because I feel like I've already talked too much. And my wife is literally sending me text messages complaining about me being too loud and quote unquote yelling and having to listen to me say this twice. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna try to do this quickly. I am going to, my wife said I'm not complaining. That's a lie. Okay, 49 weeks. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share my screen with you all now. Boop. There we go. Okay, every day we write, first period, only first period. None of you all have to worry about that. Let's go to assignments, week 3, and you got 2 folders. Now, the 2 folders, ladies and gentlemen, I know that today is supposed to be an A-day week where I see A-day 3 times. However, chapter 1 is 12 pages and chapter 2 is 16 pages, okay? Now, that is a lot of reading. That is at least 3 days worth of reading, okay? So instead of giving you 3 assignments, I've just given you, broken it down by chapter 1 and chapter 2, and you can use all week in your 3 days, however you want, to come up with, to complete these 2 assignments, right? Because it's a lot of reading. And if we were in a classroom setting, even with an hour and a half worth of time, it would probably take us about 3 days to get through this kind of stuff, right? So I'm letting you guys do this on your own, all right? So that's why it's just 2 folders this week and why it's broken up by chapter instead of by day. Okay, so chapter 1, ladies and gentlemen, you got your video, which we're watching right now. You have this, chapter 2, chapter 1, Science and 12th grade Olympians, which you have to read. It's a PDF version that I've given you, and you're drawing. Okay, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'm gonna go back really quickly. And you, on this page, you have your chapter 1, chapter 2, and then you have a discussion thread. Now, one of the things that I've done differently, is I've done the student completion again, but I've required that you do things in sequential order. Now, what that means is that you have to do that in order. You can't jump from one to the other. So you cannot go to chapter 2 without completing chapter 1. And you cannot post a comment here unless you finish both chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay? So you have to do things in order. You can't jump around. And now, this last one is how much time did it take you to complete the assignment, including the reading? This is new for me and for you. So I need to figure out how much time this is taking you, okay? But I'm not gonna allow you to comment on that until you've completed everything, because that's the only way we'll know how much time things are taking, okay? So chapter 1, ladies and gentlemen, is no different, all right? I did the same thing. I did the same, but you get the idea. I did it in sequential order. So you have to watch the video, then you have to read the PDF, and then and only then can you do the assignment, okay? Now, here's the video, PDF. No, it's loading. So I have given you all of chapter 1. I've given you exactly what you need to read, okay? Now, it is not the best quality, but it's not the worst quality either. You can read it. It works, all right? Now, if you find a better version out there that's PDF, let me know. Send it to me. The book is called Greek Mythology by Edith Hamilton. That's what it's called, all right? Now, you also have the ability to get library cards. Remember, I gave you a link in resources. If you can get the library card and you can electronically check out the book, do that, please, because it's going to be a better version than this, okay? But this works. It's there. It's available for you. You can use it, all right? Now, here's the PDF. You need to read it. Now, you have an assignment. Okay, so the assignment is very simple, but it's not going to be a written assignment. We're going to do something that's a little different, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen again. And I really hope that I'm still recording. Yep, okay. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Okay, so you're gonna read chapter 1, and then you're gonna have to create an assignment that is a drawing assignment. You know how much I love drawing. Okay, now it's very simple. You're gonna read about the 12 main gods in Olympus. Okay, I want you to draw the 12 main gods in Olympus. Get a sheet of paper and draw 12 squares. 3 by 4. Very simple. So what I do, ladies and gentlemen, is get the paper, measure it out, divide by 3. Simple stuff. Measure it out, divide by 4. This is plain printer paper, and I cheated because I used the metric system because it's easier and because I'm German, part German. And so what I figured out was this is 7 centimeters and this is 7 centimeters, okay? So this is the best way to make straight lines and to make a nice, clean looking sheet of paper. I measured 7 millimeters to here and put a little mark, a dot. 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters from here and put a little dot. Then you go to the bottom, do the same thing. 7 centimeters from here to here, dot. 7 centimeters from here to here, dot. Then you get a ruler, you line up the dots, draw the line. And that's how you get straight line. Line up the dots, draw the line. Now, same thing. 7 centimeter, dot. 14, dot. 21, dot. 7, dot. 14, dot. 21, dot. Line up the 2 dots, line, line, line. Do that on both sides. Okay? Now, on this side, on the front side, you're going to draw, you're going to put the name, which is backwards. You're going to put the name of the god, and you're going to draw the god with a characteristic that defines the god. Okay? Easiest way to explain that is Zeus, name, draw Zeus, however you want. He's usually depicted buff and with a beard. And then the characteristic that you can put in there that helps you define him is holding a lightning bolt, right? He's usually depicted holding a lightning bolt. Hades. Hades, draw a dude holding a flame, right? So Cupid. Is Cupid one of the main gods? I'm not sure. No, Cupid's not one of the main gods in Olympus. He's a minor god. Anyways, just to explain, for explanation's sake, right? If Cupid was the main god, you would draw him with a bow and arrow with a heart, right? That's a depiction. All right, so that's a characteristic that you use to define him, right? So name, drawing, characteristic. On the back, on the opposite tile, you're gonna write a short description that helps you, right? So if you have Zeus, then on the back, you can put like, you know, the main god of Mount Olympus, has a lot of power, controls lightning and thunder, right? Hades, Zeus's brother, Lord of the Underworld, right? So this is done for a couple reasons. The first, well, look, the main reason why I'm having you do this, ladies and gentlemen, is because A, it's super complicated. This story can get super complicated because there's a bunch of characters, there's a bunch of gods, and it can become really complicated who does what and what big thing it is that they do and why they're important and what their roles are and all that kind of stuff. So this will help you keep that in check. And it'll be a great reference guide for you to use as you start reading, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is how I came up with this, right? I want to have a sheet that you can reference that has the gods on there to help you remember and figure out who these people are and what they do, okay? And it's both visual and writing, which is really good and it'll help ingrain who they are and what they do for a lot of, okay? If you come up with a better way to do it, do it. If you want to do something bigger, do it. If you want to do something electronically, do it. If you, whatever, just do it. I want you to do it the way you want to do it, but do it well, okay? For a lot of you, this is going to be therapeutic. Being able to draw, being able to color, being able to do this kind of thing is going to be really therapeutic for you. And those of you who are amazing drawers, please let me see your talent. You're all so talented and so good at what you do and so smart and so amazing. Let me see that. I really want to see that, okay? And the only requirement I have is that what I just said, the 12 gods, name, all kinds of stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the only artistic requirement that I have is that you don't use stick figures. That's it. color and drawing, you figure it out. You want to make an electronic version, do it. You want to make it bigger, do it. You want to make it smaller, I don't really care. Just do whatever works for you, okay? All right, back to sharing my screen. Okay, so that's this. You're gonna take a picture of it, or you're gonna use a scanner. Cam Scanner is a really good one that I use. It's just an app on my phone, and you can take pictures of something, it'll scan it. But take a picture or scan it and upload your work here, okay? It's not really different. You're just gonna upload it here instead of uploading a Word document, and that's how I'm gonna see all of your work, okay? Do your best, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so that's chapter 1. And that's everything. And again, you can't get to this without doing these steps first. Okay? Now let's go back to week 3, chapter 2. This is chapter 2. Again, exactly what you need from the PDF. I've already broken it down for you so that you don't have to read anymore. Okay? Now, one of the things to consider, to take into account, I'm cherry picking stuff here because we don't have as much time as we normally do. So I'm cherry picking what we're reading. We're not going to read everything. In chapter 1, you're not going to read all of chapter 1 because we don't have time. All right? So this is chapter 2. It's there for you to read. All right? Boom. Done. Oh, sorry. Now, discussion. What do you think so far? These stories are nuts. Greek mythology is insane. The gods are nuts, and they're jerks, and they're mean to one another, and they're mean to people, and they're constantly lying and stealing and backstabbing and cheating. There's so much cheating that goes on in this. It's crazy. Embrace it. It's like a reality show. It's like a soap opera. It really is, right? It's like the worst reality show you can think of. All these dumb people doing dumb things. Like that's Greek mythology. It's crazy what happens, all right? Embrace it, enjoy it. You're not gonna like this if you don't understand, like, these people are nuts. And enjoy the craziness of it, okay? So, what do you think so far? Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you thought the weirdest or craziest thing was. Let's just have a discussion about this, okay? And then, ladies and gentlemen, you have a quiz. You have a quiz. It is a timed quiz. All the questions are scrambled, and every student gets different questions. Yay! It is available from Monday to Friday, and you can take it at any time. Okay? Don't cheat. It's gonna be hard to cheat anyways. But again, you have to do this in order. So you can't take the quiz until you've read and done a discussion post. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Make sure that when you finish everything for week 3, that you do this. I need you to do this. I need to figure out how much time it's taking you to read. I need to know how much time it's taking you to do this stuff. Okay? So please let me know. Please let me know how much time it takes you to do this. Okay? All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm done. I hope that you enjoyed this video a little bit more. If I was in class, there'd be a lot more yelling, and I would probably fall to the ground like I did when I was doing Romeo and Juliet. But hey, man, this is where we're at. I hope you're all doing well. If you have questions, shoot me a remind. If you have questions, shoot me an email. If you need anything, let me know. I hope you're all doing well, ladies and gentlemen. And let me know if you are. I will see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye. Or not. And